Hey, it's Mr. Klein here. This is your need to know for Unit 2 Target D. So Target D says that you can make reasonable estimates of sums and differences of fractions and mixed numbers. Another way to think of that is that you need to be able to show that you can round fractions and use rounding to estimate a sum or difference. So in other words, can you come up with a quick, close enough answer when you're adding or subtracting with fractions and mixed numbers? Okay, we're going to be doing two examples here. The first one I'd like you to write in your notes, and here it is. Jack tracked his walking. He walked 8 1/4 mile, and then 2 6/7 of a mile, and finally 3 9/10 of a mile. About how much did he walk in all? Show how you estimated. So you see that word about. That is a hint to you that we don't need to find the exact solution. We're looking for an estimate. It says show how you estimated. So we would want to first go ahead and just write out if this is an addition or subtraction. And this is 8 1/4 of a mile first, plus 2 6/7 of a mile, plus 3 9/10 of a mile. And because it's an estimate, we don't need to find the exact solution. What we're going to do instead is use rounding to get a close enough answer. Okay, so when you see 8 1/4, you should be thinking about those benchmarks that you learned. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so typically for benchmarks, you would be thinking in terms of, is it closer to 0? Is it closer to 1? And 1/2's in the middle, right? So for 8 1/4, we're thinking, is that closer to 8, 8 1/2, or 9? And 1/4 would fit right here on our number line. So that means it's closer to 8. So we could just round that to 8 instead of 8 1/4. For rounding 2 6/7, 6/7 would be somewhere around here on our number line, which means that we would round 6/7 up to 1 whole. It's close to 1 whole, 7/7. And that's 1 whole plus the 2 makes 3. And then last 3 9/10. 9/10 is almost 10/10. So again, we're going to round up. So 3 9/10 is really close to 4. So our estimate would look like this. What's 8 plus 3 plus 4? So 8 plus 3, 11, plus 4 is 15. And our estimate would be 15. And you can see we have shown how we estimated like it asked us to. And this would be what your page should look like here, except maybe a little less messy. Alright, and here's another one. So this one you can actually find on your pretest, which is in your SAB, or you can just write it in your notes. Alright, it says Ika mixes 6 7/8 pints of grape juice. Let's see, 6 7/8, and 4 1/4 pints of cranberry juice to make punch for a party. So she's mixing them together. That means she's adding. She has 9 pints of punch left at the end of the party. Estimate how much punch Ika served at the party. Explain how you estimated. Okay, so the first thing we would want to do is use rounding to see about how much of this punch did she actually make for the party. Then we can figure out how much she has left. So 6 7/8, you would want to ask yourself, is that closest to 6, 6 1/2, or 7? Give you a second. And it's 7. 7/8 is really close to 8/8, which is 1 whole, right? And then we have 4 1/4, and you need to ask yourself, is that closest to 4, 4 1/2, or 5? And again, we would round down in this one. So it's, not again, but, so it's 4. So we end up with 7 plus 4. So our quick estimate, close enough answer for how much punch she made is 11. It's not the exact, it's just an estimate. Okay, so if she made 11 pints of punch, and then she has 9 pints left, then we're trying to find out how much she served. It looks like this: 11 minus what equals 9. So if you count up from 9, 9, 10, 11, then you can see that she served 2 pints. So our estimate is 2 pints. We can explain how we estimated just by showing this here. You don't actually have to use words. If you wanted to use words, you would say I rounded 6 7/8 to 7. I rounded 4 1/4 to 4. That's about 11. And then I subtracted the 9 pints that she served, or the 9 pints that she had left over. So she must have served 2 pints. Okay, but if you want to show it with numbers, it would look something like this. So you can practice more in your SAB for this target. There's not a lot of practice other than SAB on this one. But if you want to do a couple more problems, then check out your playlist for the SAB. All right, bye.